The
Then we
terms
have
are
a
agreed
deal.
then. Let's gather the first installment.
Right now, in a private boardroom in Manhattan, 12 billionaires just paid $10,000 each to learn a single argument technique. This isn't some modern business strategy. It's a 2,400-year-old method that Socrates used to destroy the most powerful minds in ancient Greece. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the world's wealthiest people consider this knowledge worth more than most people's annual salary. I'm going to share something with you that executive coaches charge Fortune 500 CEOs thousands of dollars to learn. After studying behavioral psychology for over a decade and analyzing how the world's most successful people win arguments, I've discovered why this ancient Greek technique is still the ultimate weapon in any debate, negotiation, or confrontation. But first, let me ask you something, and I want you to comment your answer below. When was the last time you lost an argument that you knew you should have won? Keep that moment in mind, because what I'm about to show you would have completely changed the outcome. 2,400 years ago in Athens, a man named Socrates developed a questioning technique so powerful that it literally changed the course of human thought. He didn't win arguments by shouting louder or presenting more facts. Instead, he asked questions that forced his opponents to examine their own beliefs until they realized their logic was flawed. The Athenian government was so threatened by this technique that they executed Socrates for corrupting the youth because young people who learned his method could dismantle any authority figure's arguments. Think about that. They killed a man because his questioning technique was too effective. But here's what's fascinating. This same method is now being taught in exclusive executive seminars to CEOs, world leaders, and yes, billionaires who understand that the ability to win any argument is worth any price. Warren Buffett uses this technique in every shareholder meeting. Elon Musk deployed it to convince Tesla's board to approve his massive compensation package. Jeff Bezos used it to win arguments with Amazon's early investors who thought online retail would never work. But they don't call it the Socratic method in boardrooms. They call it strategic questioning or executive inquiry. The technique is the same, but the price tag has gone up a lot. I recently spoke with a consultant who charges Fortune 100 companies $15,000 per day to teach this method to their leadership teams. When I asked him why executives pay so much for something they could learn from a philosophy textbook, his answer shocked me. Because most people can't handle the truth about how powerful this really is. Pause the video right now and think about this. What would change in your life if you could win every argument? Your career, your relationships, your confidence, everything would be different. Comment below with one situation where you wish you had this power. After years of studying how billionaires and world leaders use this technique, I've developed what I call the Socrates Elite Method. This is the exact framework that executive coaches charge for $10,000, but I'm going to break it down for you right now. S. Set up the question. Never attack their position directly. Instead, ask them to explain their reasoning. Help me understand how you came to that conclusion. O. Observe their assumptions. Listen for the underlying beliefs they're not stating. Every argument is built on hidden assumptions. C. Challenge with curiosity. Don't argue. Ask questions that expose flaws. What evidence would change your mind about this? R. Redirect their logic. Use their own reasoning against them. If that's true, then wouldn't it also mean? A. Amplify contradictions. Point out where their logic conflicts with itself. Earlier you said X, but now you're saying Y. How do these both work? T. Test their certainty. Force them to quantify their confidence. On a scale of 1 to 10, how certain are you about this? E. Extract the truth. Guide them to the logical conclusion. Let them convince themselves they were wrong. S. Secure your victory. Once they've changed their mind, reinforce the new position. Make them feel smart for discovering the truth. Here's the key that separates amateurs from professionals. You never tell them they're wrong. You ask questions that make them realize it themselves. When people convince themselves, they don't feel defeated. They feel enlightened. Let me show you this in action. Imagine someone argues, social media is completely harmless. It's just entertainment. Amateur response, that's wrong. Studies show social media causes depression and anxiety. Socrates' elite method response, that's interesting. Help me understand. When you say it's just entertainment, what makes entertainment harmless? Setup. They might say, well, it doesn't affect real life. I'm curious about that. If someone spends 4 hours a day on social media, would you say that time affects their real life? Challenge with curiosity. Well, maybe a little, but not in a harmful way. So you're saying time spent on social media does affect real life, but only positively or neutrally? Redirect their logic. I guess, well, it could be negative if someone gets addicted. Interesting. So social media can be addictive, and addiction is harmful, but social media itself is harmless? Amplify contradictions. Notice what happened. They went from completely harmless to admitting it can be addictive and harmful. They convinced themselves. That's the power of this method. Try this technique in your next disagreement and comment below with your results. I guarantee you'll be shocked at how effective it is. Why does this work so well? It exploits 3 fundamental psychological principles that billionaires understand but most people don't. First, cognitive dissonance. When people hold contradictory beliefs, their brain creates psychological discomfort. The Socrates method forces them to confront these contradictions, and their brain resolves the discomfort by changing their position. Second, the illusion of knowledge. Most people think they understand things better than they actually do. When you ask them to explain their reasoning, they quickly realize how shallow their knowledge is. Third, ownership bias. People value conclusions they reach themselves more than conclusions imposed on them. When they discover they were wrong through your questions, they feel smart rather than defeated. This is why billionaires pay so much to learn this technique. It doesn't just win arguments, it changes minds permanently while preserving relationships. Your opponent thanks you for helping them see the truth. The applications of this method are limitless. In business negotiations, instead of arguing about price, ask questions about value. Help me understand how you calculated this price. What factors did you consider? In relationships, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I'm curious. When I'm talking, what are you usually thinking about?" With difficult family members, instead of arguing politics, ask, "What would need to happen for you to change your mind about this issue?" The key is patience. This method takes longer than traditional arguments, but the results are permanent. When someone convinces themselves, they stay convinced. Here's your homework. Pick one person in your life who you frequently disagree with. For the next week, use only questions when you disagree with them. No statements, no facts, no arguments, only questions. Then comment below and tell me what happened. I predict you'll be amazed at the results. You now possess knowledge that billionaires pay $10,000 to learn. But here's the thing about powerful techniques. They only work if you use them. Most people will watch this video, feel impressed, and then never apply what they've learned. Don't be most people. The Socrates elite method will only change your life if you actually use it. Start today. Start with the next person who disagrees with you. And if you want to master advanced psychological techniques like this, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I share methods that executive coaches charge thousands to teach, but I believe everyone deserves access to this knowledge. Remember, in a world where everyone argues with facts and emotions, the person who asks the right questions controls the conversation. Be that person.